The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind is considered one of the best RPGs of all time. However, much like other best of all time RPGs such as Baldur's Gate, it can be a little daunting to people unfamiliar with the game to approach now. I myself am not too experienced with the game, having about 20 hours in it according to Steam. However, I'm here to help get over some of those first hurdles. This is just a simple little beginner's guide, more hints than a guide, really. I also had trouble getting into the game initially. So that's why I'm here, to help. I'm going to be loading a new character and getting to about, well, I'm just going to be showing you some of the early game hints that really help. So let's start a new game. I'm not going to be showing the cinematic because, well, that's something for you to do on your own. First, you're going to be naming your character. I'm just going to put guide. Your character name doesn't matter that much. It's not like Dragon Quest or anything where it affects your level ups. Purely just there to help discern the characters between multiple save files. Some NPCs will also refer to you by name. Don't get attached to the voice acting, by the way. While we're taking this walk, I just want to mention, I don't recommend modding the game for your first playthrough. I think you should play the game a bit and figure out what it is you want to change about it for future playthroughs, even if you don't finish your first playthrough. One thing I want to note is that by default, your use key, or activate key rather, is space and jump is E. If you're used to more contemporary games, you may want to switch these in your controls menu.
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you.
And hold shift to sprint. However, there is one thing that separates Morrowind from Oblivion. And that is sprinting actually does consume your fatigue gauge. Your first major choice is your race. And this is actually more important in this game than in Oblivion or Skyrim, or even Elder Scrolls Online. Because every race has different skill bonuses of 5, 10, I believe some even reach 15, as well as racial special abilities. In this game, you want to specialize. So you want to choose something that has 5s and 10s in skills you care about. Like a Dark Elf would be good for a Destruction Mage who happens to use short blades. The Argonian is good for characters who want to move fast and use spears. The Red Guard is a fantastic tank race. Kaiji are natural thieves, and so on and so forth. For this example, I'm going to be replicating my first character build, so I'm going to choose a Red Guard due to their plus 15 to long blade, as well as their natural skill and heavy armor.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
You want to talk to him.
Before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
I highly recommend creating your own custom class. Answering his questions is nice for flavor, but your custom class will allow you to truly specialize. So first you'll need to choose combat, magic, or stealth. I'm going to choose combat for this build. Your favorite attributes. They're fairly self-explanatory. Strength is how hard you can hit things. Intelligence is how well you can cast spells. Willpower is how you can resist spells and use support magics. Agility is your speed, jumping, etc. Speed is a more direct way to upgrade your movement speed. Endurance is your health and ability to use armor. Personality is how much people like you. And luck is actually extremely important. So I'm going to take strength and luck as my favorite attributes. As for major skills, I want block, heavy armor, long blade, what was it? Restoration, and what was it? Security. Security is just to allow you access to better loot boxes. As for secondary skills, or minor skills as they're put here, I want to take mercantile, speechcraft, more general skills that aren't going to be of importance in combat or dungeon crawling. Enchant can be nice, but you can also get items enchanted from NPCs, so it's not that important. I suppose I'll take acrobatics, because you can train that just by jumping everywhere. So this is my paladin build, as I like to call it. You have block and heavy armor for tanking, restoration to restore your own health, long blade to deal damage, strength to hit harder, etc., and carry more loot. Strength is an incredibly important attribute in this game. If you're a caster, you probably want to take intelligence. But you definitely... No, don't take luck as a favorite attribute. I'm misremembering how you do it. You just want to take a point of luck every level. So I'm going to take endurance as my second favorite attribute.
Very good. The letter that preceded, you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
Your sign is basically a perk. You can be an apprentice, which gives you a weakness to magic spells, but you get 1.5 times your int in extra magicka. The Atronach allows you to absorb 50% of spells thrown your way, and you have double int your maximum magicka, but you have stunted magicka, meaning you do not naturally regenerate your magic resource. This is actually quite good for a paladin build, because you're not going to be casting too much except when you're healing. The Lady gives you plus 25 endurance and personality, which is also quite good for a paladin or any sort of tank. The Lord makes you take double damage from fire, but you can daily cast a 60-point heal on yourself, which is powerful early in the game, but falls off later, meaning the weakness really catches up to you. The Lover gives you 25 points of agility, and... oh wait, no. This is a spell, so you actually can use it anytime you have the magicka. Again, it's not so great, because it doesn't scale very well, though. The Lover is another very powerful sign. It gives you 25 agility points, and it gives you the daily ability to paralyze any enemy for 60 seconds. Paralyze is incredibly powerful in this game, because it completely renders your opponent unable to move or attack you or cast spells. However, as you get higher in level, again, enemies become more resistant to paralysis. The Mage simply gives you extra half your intelligence in bonus magicka with no drawbacks. The ritual allows you to turn undead on target, which is a ranged ability, and on touch, which is a melee range ability, as well as an instant 100-point heal. This is much more powerful than the 60-point heal, but the turn undead spells are the real draw to the ritual. The Serpent allows you to do 90 points of poison damage as well as 30 points of standard damage. Very good if you are a caster because it gives you a high damage spell early in the game, although it is a damage over time. The Shadow lets you turn invisible. I mixed invisibility and invisible. For 60 seconds on yourself a day, which is incredibly powerful for thief characters who may not start with the most sneak. The Steed is absolutely worthless because it's only a 25-point fortification to your speed. Your speed, it's not fast, but you don't really need to move fast, especially when you can create fortify speed spells eventually. The Thief simply gives you 10 points of Sanctuary, which is... I'm not sure, but I think Sanctuary is effectively a luck fortification. The Tower, again a good one for early game thieves, allows you to detect animals, enchantments, and keys for 1 minute per day. Handy if you're not sure where the key to a door is, or if any magical items are nearby, but the real bonus is the 50 points open on touch, which opens a lock up to 50 points of difficulty. And lastly is the Warrior, which fortifies attack by 10 points, which I believe is an accuracy bonus. As I mentioned, the Atronach is amazing for a paladin archetype character, so that's what I'm going to be using. You are also free to use magicka potions.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
He'll give you a preview of your statistics. So major skills and minor skills will give you more points toward a level when you earn points in them. Miscellaneous skills are mostly going to start at 5. However, don't worry about that. You can eventually become a jack of all trades, master of all, if you earn enough money. But we'll get into that later. You now have a stats menu.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
You want to take your release identification, but if you open your inventory, you have nothing but the clothes on your back and your release identification. You're going to need a little bit of money to start with. If you come over here, there's a lineware platter that is worth 650 septims. And this is an exploit. If you don't want to cheat, don't do this. Take it and drop it. This guard will tell you that, hey, apparently you're too stupid to realize that stealing is a crime, so we'll let you off on this one. But as soon as you take it, it's actually marked as yours as far as NPCs know when you're taking it off the ground. So you get it back for free. If you still have it in your inventory when you're caught, they will take it from you. Also worth noting, you start with 50 long blade with this build and 40 heavy armor. If you come over here, there are some valuable items worth taking. The silver items specifically, as well as I think there is some flint around here. Also, anything that is 0.2 weight or lower is worth taking. Otherwise, you need to start looking at your weight to value ratio, which everyone has a different one. You want to take this lockpick along with all the silver on this table, because none of it is counted as stolen. There's also an iron dagger, but it's worth so little. There's also a little flavor note. This lockpick is given to you because there's a level 1 locked chest in here with a little bit of starting money. Not much, though. And we want to start with as much money as we possibly can. You do have a mini-map down in the bottom right. In here is going to be some junk that's not worth taking, as well as an engraved ring of healing. If you look at the enchantment, its use is to restore between 1 and 5 hit points. Not exactly a great item when you start with 60 HP. But you want to hold on to it. You want to talk to this man about his background or Morrowind, duties, and Caius Casadus, as well as Balmora. You can read all of this on your own for more details on the story and what's going on here, but this is a gameplay guide. However, you want to come over here and talk to Fargoth, who is missing his ring. He talks about how he was missing an engraved healing ring, which is a family heirloom, and if you give it to him, he is going to tell his friend Ariel, who runs the trade house. He's also going to tell his friend who runs the Silt Strider, which is one of your fast travel stations, effectively. And because he tells the shopkeeper in here, he likes us a lot, which means he's going to give us a better deal. To purchase items, you click on Barter, and to purchase spells, you click on, well, Spells. So we want to offload everything we've picked up. You can automatically transfer a full stack by holding shift and left clicking. Sometimes the audio is a little out of balance in this game. So he's going to offer us 586 gold, but he likes us, so we're going to bump that up to 590. You raise your mercantile skill by eventually earning enough extra gold through barter. You want to pick a weapon. In my case, I want a long blade because, well, that's my specialization. You can choose axes, short blades, blunt weapons, anything you really want. I just personally prefer long blade because Redguard have a natural affinity for them. Silver is excellent if he sells a silver weapon in your weapon class, because then you don't need to find an enchanted weapon in order to defeat undead monsters, specifically ghosts. I'm going to take the Iron Claymore, as well as pick up a set of heavy armor. In this game, you have separate left and right pauldrons, gauntlets. I don't think you have separate greaves, though. No. Or boots. Let's see. Unfortunately, I need to mix some sets here. Let's see here. Head, body, legs, hands, boots. Wait. I don't think boots are greaves, although I could be wrong. And we're going to talk him down just a little bit on price. No, they are not boots. Notice that we are still wearing our clothes underneath of our armor. Because of this, it's also possibly worth picking up a set of expensive clothes if you can find any. Looks like I need to buy some light pauldrons, unfortunately. which is not the end of the world. It just insults my fashion sense. Now we look like a warrior who has a challenged sense of fashion.
This is unexpected, but not unwelcome. Please, go ahead.
However, we're still not done reaping the riches near Satanin. Worth equipping your Hearth Heal spell, which you will always start with. You equip your spell with R. Unlike Oblivion, you can't have a weapon and spell equipped at the same time. This is a less necessary stop, but it is worth taking note of, because near Satanin is actually a small bandits camp inside of a cave. I also recommend harvesting from any and all plants you find, because, well, especially in the case of the mushrooms, you're going to need them for quests. And some have interesting alchemical effects, such as water walking. You also want to go ahead and save. Whoops. Before going in, because you never know what happens. This game has a roll the dice combat system, meaning that just because you swing your sword and it looks like it hits, doesn't mean it hit.
Now you die!
I also highly recommend going into your options and under preferences, turning on always use best attack, because every weapon has different damage ranges based on different attacks, and unless you use that option, you change your attack by moving in different directions as you begin your swing. Because you're early in the game, you want to go ahead and just loot everything off of corpses. You can go upstairs, but first there's a mage down here to deal with. You're also going to get a taste for the way Dunmer insult people. Clicking Dispose of Corpse is supposed to give you all the items that they're carrying, but I'm paranoid, so I don't use that for that purpose. After defeating the bandits, you can loot anything you want, especially this skooma, but you're going to have to do a little bit of inventory management with the skooma until... Actually, just pick that up, drop it, and take all. Until you reach Balmora, which is the first town. The same goes for the moon sugar I just picked up in that other crate. However, it's absolutely worth the minor hassle, because you are going to earn a lot of money. You'll also find some enchanted scrolls that have spells in them, and what's nice about scrolls is you don't need any magical skill to use them, unlike something like Dungeons and Dragons RPGs. Also, when there's a body of water in a dungeon, it's worth taking a peek at the bottom, because there are sometimes loot bits. Just make sure to manage your breath. This is just an example of a dungeon exploration in this game. I will note there is a chance of spell failure in this game based on your equipment burden, your skill with a particular school of magic, and your current fatigue. So because I'm currently low on fatigue, I only have a 51% chance of Hearth Heal actually casting. It's not a big deal, but it's something to keep in mind. You can also take this key, come in here, and free these slaves. I don't believe there's any gameplay purpose to this, but it makes you feel like less of a terrible person. They also dropped their bracers, which I'm not sure if there's a reason you would want to take these. Maybe you're a fighter who uses absolutely no magic, so the 6 armor rating is appealing. But that doesn't make sense when steel is so much better. I don't know. In any case, you're going to want to go to Balmora now, after taking a quick look for some Bungler's Bane, and I always forget what the other tree mushroom is. But there are 2 kinds of mushrooms that will grow on trees. Bungler's Bane and the other one. I think for some reason I thought there was some on this tree. You might have to poke around a bit for it, but it is absolutely worth your time. Also, jumping is better than running. Who'd have guessed? Let's see, is that it up here? Yeah, Hypophasia. So, if you have Violet Coprinus, Luminous Rusula, Bungler's Bane, and Hypophasia, that will save you some time in just a moment. So you want to come up this hill and talk to the guy up here, because he's going to give you a ride for pretty cheap off to any city that he offers, and we're going to want to go to Balmora. You're kind of pointed to go to Balmora by the main quest. You can also go to Vivec, which is a massive city, Suron, and Nisus.
We make a special trip just for you. Say hello.
Now, before you do anything, you're carrying some hard drugs on you. I forgot to mention that, but skooma and moon sugar are hard drugs. So you want to offload those, and only people who deal in contraband and Khajiit will deal with people carrying skooma and moon sugar. You're not going to get the full value, unfortunately, but hey, it gets you something. Also worth noting, you can also get a fiend... Well, you can get demon and fiend weapons from Ravir here. What they do is they allow you to cast a bound weapon spell, which allows you to use the equivalent of a Daedric weapon. The Daedric metal, not Daedric artifacts. I'm just checking to see if he has anything interesting. So you have some money, and you're probably carrying some fairly heavy stuff. But you don't have friends. That's what the guilds are for. Anyone can join any of the 3 major guilds, the Thieves Guild, the Fighters Guild, and the Mages Guild. You just have to talk to the right person. Join the Mages Guild, yes, and you can ask for duties, and you'll be pointed to a specific NP... Oh. Never mind. I thought you were pointed to whoever you took duties for. In the Mages Guild, you want to come down here to meet with the Kaji Alchemist, who will ask you to bring you 4 types of mushrooms, which we've already picked up. And you will be given some cheap restore health potions, which are your tier 2 healing potions. It goes bargain, cheap, standard. I forget what tier 4 is, and then there's exclusive. Anyway, your next duty is to place a fake soul gem in a desk. If you're a thief and you don't mind carrying around a bunch of contraband for a while until you can find someone with the money to purchase them, you can steal some extremely expensive items. Or at least some useful ones. You want to be sneaking anyway, so you might as well. Just make sure you place the fake soul gem in the desk. And don't try to sell these stolen goods to Thieves Guild or Mages Guild members. As long as you have this icon down here, you are not being detected. But as you can see, these soul gems have some extremely powerful and expensive souls trapped in them. Again, only carry them if you don't mind the fact that you're going to be carrying them for quite a while.
I suppose it is my duty to help those less fortunate than myself.
You don't get a reward for every duty. You're also told to get some flowers, but that's not part of this guide. You can find them on your own by exploring a bit. You can get them fairly close to Balmora, I believe, if you just follow the river, too. You also are given access to the Mages Guild supply chest by joining, giving you some soul gems, a couple of books worth money, some scrolls, and some Restore Magicka and Fortify Willpower potions. Pretty good stuff. Alright, in this game, when you're over-encumbered, you simply cannot move. I'm just going to put these... Oh. I forgot about that. I'm just going to drop these mushrooms because they're not worth very much money. I realize I am making a big deal about getting equipped with lots of money. However, this is because money is extremely important in this game. We have left, yes. Armorers will only buy armor, not clothes. So you need to go to the clothier or the pawn shop, or outfitter in this case. You may have to make an offer multiple times before it's accepted. However, you'll notice we do have halfway to a level in Mercantile, which will eventually increase our chance of succeeding at offers. You can kind of see where this is going. Oh, wait, do you buy You should buy weapons. Cool. The main things weighing me down now are potions and slightly heavy alchemy ingredients. Next, you want to go to the Fighters Guild. and take your first job. No. To join the Fighters Guild, you come upstairs and talk to Itis Fireeye.
Scamps, I could skin them all.
Take orders. You're told to kill some cave rats from Drayrain Thalos' house. You're also allowed to take some arrows, bolts, armors, hammers, and some restore fatigue and health potions. You can immediately turn around and sell the hammers to the armorer who is standing right there, that red guard over there. This is going to take us over to the eastern section of Balmora, and don't worry, we're basically only going to show the first quest or two of each guild, because the rest are fairly explained to you. But you want to come over to the Southwall Corner Club and speak to Sugarlips Habasi to join the Thieves Guild. She wants you to steal diamonds from Nalcaria of Whitehaven, the city's alchemist. We're going to wait until nighttime to do this. Instead, for now, we're just going to work on finding the house. Is right. This one. If you don't have an armor skill, this one can actually be fairly dangerous because the rats will gang up on you. Talk to her about the cave rats. She's going to tell you about them.
I'm waiting.
And you want to come in here because, oh no, there's another cave rat. If you're the thiefy type, you can also simply close the door and steal from her chest. She has a lot of pillows, which is quite strange. I will note that if you don't have the 50 in a weapon skill that I do, you're going to miss quite a lot, especially at low fatigue. Also, you can find exclusive potions for some reason in some of these, as well as soul gems. But for the most part, you're going to find, like, marshmallow, rat meat, salt rice. Items that are still worth taking, but, also baskets full of pillows. Her main concern, if you read the text, is that they're going to ruin the pillows, by the way. Let's see, I think you can come in and tell her they're gone. Ah, she'll give you 100 gold. And then there's another Fighters Guild quest you can take that takes you to a egg mine to deal with some egg poachers. But we're not going to show that one. This is a long video, I do realize, but there's a lot to do to set up a playthrough. But after this, you can do anything you want, really. You can follow the main quest and go talk to Caius Casadus.
Hail!
Oh, this is Wayne, the guy you can sell the armorer's hammers to if you really care to. I do recommend it, I'm just slightly lazy. But, we are going to go wait until night to break into the alchemist's shop, specifically the upstairs. You can technically steal them from downstairs, but I highly recommend against it. Technically, you can do it at any time, but there's usually an NPC over there during the day. So let's wait until about 11 p.m. Let's see. Usually you can find like a good angle in the doorway. Or you can just save scum like me. As long as the game doesn't say, your crime has been reported, you're fine. Anyway, if you come up here, there are 2 chests down here. Honestly, take all. But there should be... Aha! Up here above the bed, there's a small chest with a level 20 lock. If you don't have security, it can take a while. But there are 3 whole diamonds in there. So you can sell the spares. Which is the real reason I highly recommend doing this quest as soon as you can. But really, that's what I wanted to say as far as the beginner guide. That particular guard tower over there does have a very valuable item for people who have high enough sneak to start with. But I'm not going to talk about that. That's something you have to find yourself. Here's a hint. Look up. But once we talk to Sugar Lips Habasi and get our reward, because I can speak English, that's really about it. The game really does kind of guide you if you just talk to people and ask about rumors and the like. The next job is to get the key to Narano Manor so you can kill people who would have it, or bribe them into letting you have the key.
Sorry, stranger.
Or you could pickpocket it from them. The choice really is yours. There are plenty of ways to resolve some of these quests, but to end this, you should have some extremely valuable soul gems if you decided to take them, about 1,000 gold, if not more, a full set of armor, and a decent weapon. You can luck out and get like a steel claymore from someone. As well as some potions and quests to guide you. One last thing I do want to note, if you open your journal, it'll tell you, oh, this person said this person gave me the item. But if you go into options and quests, it will list out the quests by name, which is extremely helpful, and I only found that out about 18 hours into the game. So this really does help. It just shows you all of the entries related to the quest. But that's all I really have to say. You can experiment with builds, just make sure you specialize. I recommend taking one type of armor, even if it's unarmored, and one weapon skill at the... one weapon, one armor, and one magic type at the very least. As well as mercantile or security, one of those miscellaneous skills. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I may not know the answer, but I can research it, of course. And yeah. Thank you for watching.